Yo te traigo esta bomba puertorriqueña. Yo te la traigo de Cupey, de Vega Baja y de Santurce, de todas partes de Puerto Rico.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Jeff and Joe's Puerto Rican Kitchen, where we show you how to make easy, authentic Puerto Rican recipes. Today, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. We're gonna be decorating a cake. You've heard in the channel multiple times that I love baking, but you actually have not heard how much I love cake decorating. I love spending time decorating cakes. I watch a lot of videos of other people decorating cakes, so I wanted to spend time showing you how I decorate my cakes. I'm going to be doing a Puerto Rican inspired cake. It's going to be taking all that love that I have for the island, for like its people, its beauty, everything, and just putting it into a cake, and I hope you guys like it. We're gonna be using a traditional Puerto Rican cake, which is almond flavor with its syrup. I'm using Swiss meringue buttercream, which is my favorite kind of frosting. It's not very traditional Puerto Rican, but I prefer this one. I have a cake smoother, an offset spatula, and a cake board. That's it. Let's get cooking. We're going to start by putting the cake together. I put some frosting on top of the cake board to make sure that the bottom layer of the cake sticks to the board. Then place the first layer of the cake on top of the frosting. It is very traditional in Puerto Rico to have almond flavored cakes instead of the vanilla flavor. I am using an almond flavored simple syrup to spray on top of the cake. This will add moistness and extra flavor to your cake. Start on the outside and work your way toward the inside of the cake. Once your cake is completely covered, then start piping a layer of frosting on top. Again, starting on the outside and working your way to the inside. We use an offset spatula to smooth out the top before placing the next layer on top. Repeat the same process with the second layer. Once your second layer is ready, take the third cake and spray the simple syrup while holding the cake before you put it on top of the second layer. Once the cake is covered, then flip the cake and put it upside down. This helps ensure a straighter top. With your cake put together, we now move on to the crumb coat. This is a thin layer of frosting to hold all of the crumbs of the cake so you don't get any crumbs when you're decorating the rest of the cake. Spread a thin layer of frosting throughout the whole cake. Then use your cake smoother to make it straight. You may need to go back and add more frosting in certain areas, but don't worry, this layer does not have to be perfect. Once your cake is completely covered, place it in the fridge for at least 15 minutes so the frosting hardens. After the 15 minutes, take the cake out of the fridge. This is where the real fun starts. I have chosen a light blue to put as the cake background. This symbolizes the light blue skies on the island. Repeat the same process as you did for the crumb coat to completely cover the cake with blue frosting. This time, spend more time making sure that the cake is completely straight and there are no holes. This process is very difficult at the beginning and can take a lot of time, but it gets much easier with practice, so don't give up. Now that you have a solid background, we're going to add all the details to the cake. I am using a freestyle technique, which basically means that I am drawing and filling in the shapes with small piping tips and then adding texture with an offset spatula. The important thing here is that you plan ahead what you want to decorate. I usually sketch it out in a piece of paper, and this allows me to think through the details of how I'm going to get it done. I have decided to do 2 landscapes in this cake, so let's get to it. The first scene, as you can see, has the mountains in the background. I am using 2 green colors to add a little bit more depth, and I'm drawing a Puerto Rican flag which flies high above the mountains. I'm adding some red flowers, amapolas, which is the national flower of Puerto Rico. Finally, I am adding a sun shining behind the mountains and some clouds. The second scene will have an ocean, the shape of the island, another flag, but this time in the shape of a heart, and 2 palm trees. These are all important symbols for us Puerto Ricans. We love the beach. Most of us have great memories of spending time at the beach with family and loved ones, sitting in the sand while the palm trees provide us coverage. The island rises above the water as a sign of its strength and resilience. But above all that is the love that we have for our island and our people, represented by the flag in the shape of a heart. I am adding a rope border on top of the cake, half of it blue and half red, and then topped with white sprinkles. Finally, clean the cake board if there's any frosting on it. And we're done. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Well, I finished decorating the cake. This was so much fun. I love cake decorating. I wanted to show some of the, highlights of Puerto Rico. Beautiful mountains. There's so much green. I miss that a lot. It's everywhere you look in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of green. Sun is always shining. Amapolas, which are, such a traditional flower in Puerto Rico. And then, of course, the flag, such a big part. And then on this side, of course, I wanted to highlight the ocean. Beaches in Puerto Rico are amazing. And you can see the island kind of born out of that water, and then a flag in the shape of a heart because, it certainly has our heart. And then 2 beautiful palm trees, which are everywhere in Puerto Rico. So I hope you enjoyed these, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up. Please share this video with other people if these kind of gives you some heartwarming feeling of, thinking of the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to share the frosting recipe, the cake recipe. Any questions you guys have, I'm more than happy to answer them. So let us know in the comments if you have any questions. And please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that. Hit that bell button so you get notifications every time we put out a new video. And please check out our blog. It's jeffandjoepr.com. There we have all of our recipes, great pictures, and step-by-step of how you can get our recipes. And we'll see you again next week for another episode of Jeff and Joe's Puerto Rican Kitchen.
Baila, baila y goza, mi bomba puertorriqueña.